Hello everybody, we're back here in the Axminster Skills Centre. Today I'm going to be looking at the Axcaliber Quickset Mortice and Chisel bit. Let's have a look at some of its key features. Okay, so let's start by looking at the chisel itself. If you look at the main fluting of the chisel, it's a really clean finish in there. It's also coated with a chemical blacking which is very low in friction. You look at the main shank as well, you'll see that relieved. It's slightly smaller than the main cutting area, and that means it's a lot easier once you've done the first hole or chisel, and to actually pull that chisel back out again. It doesn't grab on the sides here. And one other area that's been recessed is the area that comes into contact with the main locking point of your mortice. It doesn't, being recessed in, it won't create a bruising area that will then affect these main machining areas. So again, putting in and out of the collars, not too much of a problem at all. We then move on to the bit itself. Again, if we look at the very end of the cutting area, we've got one cutter and we've got a single flute running around the bit, and also coated with that low friction coating. The top of the bit itself isn't hardened. That means if you do need to trim to length, that's fairly easily done. Now the bit that makes this, or the section that makes this chisel and bit unique from many others, is the stop collar. You know the old trick, when you put your chisel and bit into the morticer, your 2p piece or your couple of mil shim just between the shoulder and the morticer to give room between the bit and the chisel itself. Well, here we can do that before you even get to the morticer. We'll put our collar on, use your 2mm or your shim, whichever you want to use. You can lock your collar up, and then this now allows it to be set all of the time, so you don't have to fiddle around every time you go to the morticer with that chisel and bit. And you can see there we've got a nice little bit of movement between the bit and the chisel itself. Okay, so there we are. I've got my chisel and bit set up in the morticer. I've allowed for my clearance between my bit and my chisel. Let's cut our mortice. So there we go, you can see how well it's dealing with those shavings, they're being thrown out. If I just tap out the mortise, you can see nice and clearly in there that it's cut a nice clean hole and all ready to make the tenon. So there we are, available imperial sizes 1/4, 3/8 and 1/2 inch, and metric sizes 6, 8, 10, 12, 16 and 20. That's the Quickset Mortice and Chisel bit from Axcaliber.